I deal with a lot of CMOs, CEOs, etc., a lot of which are still Gen X and Boomers, who in my mind are a different species than Gen Y and Gen Z. Everyone says, well, why is millennials such a big deal? The reason that millennials are a big deal is that they were the first generation that grew up with the internet in the household, which makes their brains wired completely different than everybody else who was born before them. That the rite of passage, buying a car and buying a house, which used to be the first steps in the American dream, right? Two-car garage, white picket fence, that's taken a U-turn. Instead, people have stayed in cities. The education system needs to dramatically change. I think we're going to go back to a world where it's going to be much more skill and trade-based, meaning you have to go deep into an art or deep into a science, because anything else is going to be offshored or outsourced to Costa Rica or China or you name it. What does going deep in an art mean? Being smart, being creative, coming up with ideas that a machine can't do. Being deep in the science is understanding how they use the machines. But if you want a career in middle management where you're going to work your way up the corporate ladder, you're going to find yourself in a really bad position very quickly. That Google, with its translate tool, is trying to obviously translate one language to the other, but there's some languages that just don't translate. And through Google's artificial intelligence, they've actually created a whole new language, the language of Google, that can act as an intermediary between the two languages that cannot compete with one another. To me, that's a great example of the power of artificial intelligence. For all we know, the whole world might be speaking the language of Google in 15 years. L stands for LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is just getting started in terms of their power at connecting the business network. A lot of people write it off because it's not sort of in vogue or cool. But if you want to be seen in the business world, that is the new resume. For a lot of you guys, you actually know that. But for some of you who didn't, I thought I'd throw that in there because I run into too many smart people who don't spend enough time on LinkedIn, and I think they should. Figure out what you love, figure out where the path is to sell direct, and be a freelancer.